And hello everybody, welcome back to the video. Today we're back inside our Minecraft world. Now I've been doing a bit of thinking about what to do, and I decided today we're going to get some smaller stuff done that is a bit necessary. As you can see, I've already done a little bit of terraforming here, just straightening up the walls and stuff like that, making it a bit more sharp contrast between the levels. Also, I've kind of started on that here. It's still a little bit of work in progress. I don't have any dirt on me. But that's not what I want to start with today, although that is something that I'm definitely going to get more of done. Probably some more in this episode, but we'll see. For the moment, I want to go into what I first want to work on, which is the reason why these pressure plates are here. I want to add like a little, just like jingle thing to the entrance. Just like a 3-note jingle. Note blocks are something I've always kind of wanted to incorporate more so into what I do, and I figure this would probably be a good way to do it. Just try something like this. I do need to go this way. Oh, I forgot I don't have my silk touch pick right now. I'm used to being able to just silk touch everything. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly where that crafting table is at. Should be somewhere around here. There's oh. It's a little bit awkward. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's the crafting table. So, over this row here, we have to have a redstone here. And then we're just going to be looking at 3 note blocks. This is all I want to do for the moment. Yeah, that needs to be floating. There we go. I don't want the stone sound. Alright, and then let's just run this along. Need a block here. And this should be loud enough from just underneath. No, that's not gonna work. Bring this back around. There we go, there we go. Alright. A little bit awkward there as I'm just working on that, but I needed to actually listen. I probably could have done that bit off camera, honestly. I'm going to need to add a staircase here, but first let's just make sure this works. Oh, I'm completely stupid. You know, I was messing with this before and, you know, actually using the repeaters, and then just to make sure I have an idea of what I want to do. And then I totally forgot about actually using the repeaters. That one's a little silly. But yeah, I'm wanting to start messing with note blocks more. Oh, that works. Yeah, there we go. So I figured that a good way to do it would just be to start small with random sounds and stuff that I can add, just small note chains and stuff like that. Maybe as I start to learn a little bit more, add a small melody in it places, and just stuff like that I think would be cool and add a little bit of life to the world. It's nothing crazy, and the nice thing about something like this is if I don't like it, it's really easy to pull out and isn't a really big deal. So yeah, let me figure out what the next thing is. Alright, so first things first, I just want to quickly show the finished tree farm. The trees have had some time to grow. There's glowstone all over the top. They haven't had a lot of time to grow, so they're still not fully done, with a couple stragglers in between. But for the most part, they're done. And I just gotta say, this really does work a lot better with the trees fully filled in. I don't think it's a super fantastic build by any sense, but I think it works. It looks nice enough, and you know, it kind of fits in with everything else. So as this area is more filled in general, besides just this, as we, you know, add something there, you know, etc. I think it'll work a lot better, but for the moment, that's kind of where we're at. And then for what we're gonna do next real quick, I've been looking around at which areas need a bit of terraforming the most, because I haven't, there's some areas that I've kind of neglected, and I'm gonna be honest, this spot right here really does not work. The fact that this comes in all the way down here and just randomly stops is really wonky and off-putting. So we're going to, for the moment, just kind of bring this up 3 high and bring it across. It'll look a little weird until the grass grows, but I just wanted to bring this up to here just to add a hard stop. Now, the only thing is, I don't know. So from back here, first off, it's a little weird that it stays kind of level around here and then drops off here, kind of slowly like that into. I don't know. This is gonna be a little weird and might take a little bit of time to get figured out just right. But I'm wanting to just make this a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is. I just want it to flow a bit better over here and not look so wonky as it comes into this. And also, I want to start replacing more of the stone sides with pure dirt. But that's a story for another time. Oh, that works a lot better. As I'm doing these, so first off, you can see that that's all the further up it goes from here. So I'm going to quickly fill this in. And the other thing is, I'm going to have to do something with all these openings. I'm thinking I'll do something similar to what I did back here, just like trees and flowers and stuff like that to off-put the opening and set it up a little better. At least that's what I'm thinking. So like spots like this, there'll be a tree and some flowers. Here, there's not a ton of rooms. I don't know if I'll actually do a tree, but there'll definitely be some flowers and stuff around. And we're gonna, yeah, cut that fully back. Now the other thing that I quickly wanted to mention is another reason why I want to do this is because a lot of times, like for example, coming up from here, I would just jump up here and then jump up. This wasn't like this before. I did a little bit of off-camera stuff. And then I'd jump up here and then I'd go this way and stuff like that. I want to make it feel like the paths make sense and that they are making an easier pathway rather than currently where it kind of feels like you can just run alongside the path and it doesn't really change anything. So especially for when you're coming uphill, I want to make it where it's pretty difficult to take shortcuts by just jumping up these areas. And it'll make the pathways a little bit longer, but I don't think that's a big deal since I'm not walking over them a ton anyway. And whenever I need fast movement, I'm just using my elytra and some rockets. So that's part of the thought process behind it. I also think that areas like this look a lot better than something like, say, over here, where it's kind of going up gradually and is made for jumping. I just think that for these kind of smaller enclosed spaces, I think this makes it feel far more open and just nicer in general. So that's where I'm going with that. Anyway, I'm gonna get this bit in here filled up. Alright, so we got this area filled in. And then coming over here just real quick, I also tossed some trapdoors here. I think it works just due to the spruce wood. It looks a little wonky just because there's nothing on the other side. But I don't think everything has to be symmetrical, and it works. I mean, symmetry is great. Everybody loves symmetry, but sometimes it's the stuff that throws off the symmetry that really adds something. Okay, those trapdoors don't look all that nice, but I have to talk myself into it. So then over here, as mentioned, this is all filled in. I think it looks a lot better. Obviously, grass hasn't grown yet, but I do think it already looks a lot better than it did before. because of the way this is, I think what I might do, so let me grab some bone meal and some saplings. I'm thinking we might just toss like a kind of spruce tree line up top, and then flowers and stuff below. So like we'll come below, we'll add just some grass, etc. Specifically try to make sure there's some tall grass mixed in. I don't have any way to actually hop up here, which makes sense because in the future there'll be no reason to have any to be hopping up here. But I just kind of want to come up here and spruce too close. Just add some spruce trees up here. I want to specifically make it a bit harder to see into the back. I would, whoops, that's too close. I would add some grass and stuff, but the base layer grass isn't grown yet, so can't add tall grass yet. Alright, what are we looking at? Alright, I think that works if I can get another tree in on the side and also some grass between. As mentioned, the grass isn't exactly easy to get going, but where's my... No, not saplings, bones. That might be enough if I don't mess it up. I'm gonna just grab more bones. Whee! Oh, whoops. Guess we're going up this way again. Alright. There we go. Now, let's look here. So this stuff up here is what's causing the problem, obviously. Let's dig this out. Then we have to come out 2 from it, so right there. And then another here. Ah, man. This hill really is just kind of inconvenient. If I could get some grass in place, it would be a little bit better. For sure. Because as it currently stands, part of the problem is from over here, which is the main angle, is that hole right through. So I think if I can get some tall grass right up in there to block that off, this will work. I'm going to just kind of grow some tall grass right here and see if that helps at all. If it helps a little bit, then that means once it's... Yeah, that already helps a bunch. So once there's even more grass in between, I think that works. It is a little jarring just because there's so many. So I think if I add a birch tree or an oak tree below, it might help. Saplings. Let's go with a birch tree, maybe? I don't know if I'll like the birch tree here, but... There we go. Yeah, that... Alright, that already makes this section just look a lot nicer. It's just a lot of adding small things like this that individually, like the spruce trees up there, individually don't look all that nice. Once you have the grass and the birch tree in front and all that stuff, looks really nice. If I had just done a birch tree without all the other stuff surrounding it, wouldn't work very well. So I think that it's just kind of a matter of combining a lot of smaller elements to come to something larger. And sometimes just having something large that's basic can work. But I think a lot of times it's about adding the small intricacies and building upon them that makes areas look nice. Obviously, there's nothing special, but it is what it is. I do want to see how it looks from over here too, though, because we will be viewing it from this side. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. But yeah, so I'm not sure how much work I'll do off camera, but if between episodes I feel like getting some work done on some of those areas, I for sure will. And I'll start, like, you know, just getting some more done. Terraforming over here is a pretty big thing for me. And just getting it so that I feel like this section here is finished. Because it's pretty close to it, but there's just a lot of these small things that just aren't in place that I feel like once they are, I'll feel like this area is more finished. Because like one thing that happens over here, for example, which I know I'm kind of rambling, but one thing that happens over here when I'm in this area is from a macro standpoint. If we just come to a higher point and take a look, it's kind of done from a macro standpoint, right? Like there's something in most every area. There's some big build. You know, you got the sheep farm, you got all the farms, you got the village. Obviously the village isn't quite done, but you know, with the walls and stuff from a, you know, macro standpoint, it looks pretty done. This dead space here isn't really a problem. The 500 subscriber little thing I built there kind of helps this not feel so much like Dead Space 2, even though it really is. But then, yeah, like everywhere you look, there's a macro build. It's just a matter of between the builds, there's a lot of dead space, like right here, where it's like, because there's so many macro builds, it's not a huge deal that it's dead space, but everything would flow together a lot easier if that space was filled with something, is kind of what I'm getting at. So, like this area was obviously, you know, the first section I really did in the world, so I'm hoping that over here, which is the slightly newer section, will be able to kind of come together a little bit better than the last area, and then whenever I get to my next area, I do better from there, and you know, so on and so forth, and slowly get better. And I feel like there's some things I've done a lot better. I think there's some areas that just like look a little bit worse on this side just because my vision for it in some ways wasn't as good as over here, and the terrain itself that I'm working with is a constraint and stuff like that. So I think there's some spots that like do worse, but not because I've gotten worse at it so much as it's just in some ways a more difficult build, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Once again, ended up rambling a little bit. I apologize for that. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be all for this one. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye bye.